Thank you, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council Board meeting. It is 6:30 on August 3, 2022. I'm Linda Gravani, President of the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council, and we do have quorum, which we'll get to in just a moment. But I do want to welcome you all to our meeting. We have some stakeholders with us tonight, so we really do appreciate you. Chat is disconnected. Only raised hands will be acknowledged. The LA City Charter has in section 900 the purpose of neighborhood councils, and it's to promote more citizenship participation and make government more responsive to local needs. So our task is to get the city to do its job. We are a department within the city of Los Angeles. We are required to follow city and state laws. The Brown Act does not allow us to discuss anything that is not on tonight's agenda. There are items called public comment where you can address items not on the agenda. The president will identify the suggested time limits so that the meeting will end around 9:30 p.m. I don't have many of them because we were told by the city people might figure out, oh, okay, we're not going to get to that topic for 30 minutes. So I won't have to come on until 7 o'clock, for example. So we don't have that at this moment in time. But Jasmine, is Christopher there?
Yeah, he's right here.
Okay, super. Hi, Christopher. Okay, so number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Christopher Garcia of Lake Balboa College Prep is going to lead us with the Pledge of Allegiance. And here's, you've got great, Ruth. Perfect. Okay.
Everyone, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart.
Oh, I can't.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll be seated.
Thank you. Thank you, Christopher. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your school.
Okay.
Closer.
Yeah, you got to come closer because your background is blurred.
My name is Christopher Garcia, and I'm 15 years old. I'm going to 10th grade, and I go to Lake Balboa College Preparatory Magnet. Yeah. Oh,
Did you start there from first grade or kindergarten? Or
I've been there since kindergarten, and I'm still there.
So this is really a special school because it goes from kindergarten to high school. So the older kids watch out for the younger kids. It's very unique within the city of Los Angeles, and we have it right here in Lake Balboa. And what do you like best about the school? The farm?
I like that a lot. And I like that there's everyone there. So there's like a sense of community and trust.
Excellent, excellent. And your sister's a graduate from that school. So we're very delighted the Garcia family is part of our community. Thank you very much. We appreciate your help.
Thank you.
Bye, Christopher. Okay, we're going to do roll call. And I'm going to ask Linda Schwering to do that for us. We have our secretary is not here tonight, so Ruth is going to assist with secretarial duties, and Linda Schwering is going to do the vote count. So Linda, would you do roll call, please? Excused is Danica, Lydia, and Jim Stein.
And Jim Stein?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. James Brown.
Here.
Michael Cortez.
Here.
Ruth Doxey.
Here.
Jasmine Garcia.
Here.
Linda Gravani.
Here.
Lydia Jerosimuk is excused. Okay. Sandy Joseph.
Here.
Gary Kay.
Here.
Danica is excused.
Miguel.
Yep, Miguel.
Here.
Alan Nelson.
Here.
Carol Newman.
COVID Carol is here.
Okay. Jeremy Bisanic.
Here.
Linda Schwering is here. Jim Stein is excused. Okay, that's it. Thank you. We have
Okay,
quorum.
we have 12 board members in attendance. Thank you. Next on the agenda is polling the board members for completion of mandatory training. Alan, you still have to do your code of conduct?
Yes,
Okay.
I got-
And,
I didn't send enough information.
okay,
So that makes Ellen ineligible?
correct.
Okay.
And Lydia also did not complete her training, and unfortunately, her husband passed away, and they are dealing with the funeral. Number 5, discussion of possible action to adopt the agenda for August 3, 2022. I'd like to just identify that items number 11 and 12 we will take when the speaker is available, and that would be Glenn Bailey. Glenn has to attend other meetings, so we may take it out of order. Gary, you have your hand raised?
Thank you. I do have some corrections to the agenda when you're ready for them.
Okay.
There is no item 8. And under item 7, for Assemblymember Nazarian's office, Sophia's no longer there.
I'm looking for it. Oh,
Do you know who's replacing her?
No, I don't have that
I
information.
don't think
yet.
that's been announced yet.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so there's no number 8, and please make note of that. Anything else? Okay, can I have a motion?
I move that we adopt tonight's agenda as corrected and amended.
Second.
Okay, James Brown made the motion, Sandy seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, let's take a vote. Linda Schwering?
okay. James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Jasmine Garcia,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Sandy Joseph,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Miguel,
Yes.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Bisanic,
Yes.
Linda Schwering is a yes. Jim Stein is excused. Okay, thank you.
Can we get a vote count number?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was supposed to give that to you. Okay, 1. I have 11 yays, 0 nays, 0 abstain, and 1 ineligible.
Thank you. I'm just looking for people that need to be moved over. I'm sorry. Okay. This is something new. Item number 6, I need to poll the board to determine if any board member has a conflict of interest on any item on the agenda. That is to keep us safe. We have asked if you need to recuse yourself for any specific item on the agenda. And I'm sorry, Linda, that's going to be another roll call.
Oh, okay. Very good. I did not know that. Okay. So this is
So-
polling for conflict of interest, and those that say aye have a conflict?
Correct.
Okay. All right. James Brown.
Somebody
No.
has a phone ringing. If you could mute yourself, that would be appreciated.
That's me, and 1 second. Oh, come on, stop it. Excuse me. That
This
was
is what happens when you work from home.
yeah, and it was supposed to be muted, and I'm supposed to talk to you.
Okay,
Okay, so we are on number 6 and we're polling, right?
correct.
Um,
And if you have a conflict of interest, it's yes. If you do not, it's no.
okay, fine. So James Brown,
No.
Michael Cortez,
No.
Ruth Doxey,
No.
Jasmine Garcia,
No.
Linda Gravani. Oh, jeez. Pardon me. You look. All right. So here's where I left off. Lydia's excused.
No, you had said Linda Gravani and I didn't respond.
Oh,
The
you did
answer is
not.
no.
Correct. Okay. Sandra Joseph.
No.
Okay. Gary Kay.
No.
Danica is excused. Miguel.
Yes, item 22. Which I think I need just clarification. Is RAP, does that stand for Recreation and Parks?
Recreation and Parks, yes.
Then yes, I have to recuse
All right,
myself
so
from that item.
Miguel is a yes on that one. Okay. All right. Alan Nelson is ineligible. Carol Newman,
No.
Jeremy Pisanik,
No.
Linda Schwerin is a no. Jim Stein is excused. Okay. So that gives us that gives us 10 no's, 1 yes, and 2 excuse. Oh, I'm sorry, that doesn't count in here. 0 abstain, 1 ineligible.
Thank you.
Mhm.
We're on to number 7, but I see Glenn Bailey is here, so we are going to move on to item number 11, budget advocate update.
Evening. Thank you, Linda. I am here. I am, and I'm doing 2 meetings at once, so I'm happy to speak now. Would this include the next item as well?
Yes, it will.
Okay. So since your last meeting, there's been a few things that have happened, and Carol can chime in on whatever I missed. But since your last meeting in early June, the budget advocates had a very successful budget day, which include participation from well over a majority of neighborhood councils throughout the city. We had a great presentation. This is on June 18th. And thanks to those of you who attended. We had great speakers, including the chair of the City Council Budget and Finance Committee, Councilmember Paul Korian. We had the city's administrative officer, Matt Zabo. Both gave excellent presentations on the city's budget overview situation. We also had a panel discussion, which included, among others, the mayor's deputy mayor on budget and innovation, and as well as some others. The morning session, 2 hours, was recorded. It is posted on our website, www.budgetadvocates.org. If you weren't there or you want to review it, please visit the website and watch that. It's very informative. It is one of the primary responsibilities of neighborhood councils to advise the city on its budget and its proposed budgets, and also delivery of city services. And so this is a great background information. We do this once a year. So that's there for you as a resource. We did have breakout sessions afterwards where we took input from folks from the various regions about issues associated with budget and city services. So we made a record of all the regional input, and that will start us off for this upcoming fiscal year work as we prepare to meet with departments and prepare reports. The following weekend, we had elections for the 2-year term of budget advocates. And so one of the reasons I'm here is I switched over from Region 2 to Region 3 because I'm on the Encino Council and was their budget rep. So we have 8 neighbor councils in Region 3, including Lake Balboa. The other elected budget advocate is David Ubersachs. He's president of Winnetka Neighborhood Council. And we do have a vacancy for the 3rd budget advocate. Amongst these 3 budget advocates, we will work out who's going to cover which of the neighborhood councils. That is yet to be determined for Lake Balboa. It just happens David has every 3 months he has a conflict, and tonight he had a conflict. So I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for accommodating me. And hopefully between the 2 of us, we'll make sure Lake Balboa gets covered. If not, Carol knows the ropes, and we'll make sure that she gets included with any report so that she, as your budget, one of your budget reps, can go ahead and give the report if we're not there. I think my last part of my report is that so we did have election of officers, and the 2 new co-chairs, well, one of them is continuing, Jennifer Goody from Mid-City, and then the other co-chair is Kay Hartman from Palms. And then we had officers. I am now the parliamentarian, a job I've done before, and Carol's done before. I hope I don't have a term like Carol had. It was very intense. Anyway, so there's some representation there as well. Brian Allen is the treasurer, so he's a Valley Neighborhood Council person. So there is some representation from the Valley amongst the officers. So we will be starting our work. We have started our work, but we're going to have a budget advocate retreat where we basically get into working on our priorities for the year, what we're going to focus on, our committees, which typically focus around the 40 city different departments. Those are open to neighborhood council board members and stakeholders. So if you have particular passion or expertise, or just want to learn more and want to become involved in those, let us know before August 20th. That's the date of our retreat, and or afterwards, but the sooner the better. So you can be included ground zero, starting with the work of the committees. So so that retreat will help us prioritize and how we're going to start our work ahead. Obviously, we're very much aware that for the first time in 11 years, there will be a new mayor. I'm sorry, first time in 9 years, there'll be a new mayor, in December, who will take over the already adopted city budget, but will be coming on in the middle of developing the new city budget. So that will be a new experience for all of us, but budget advocates in particular, because we do meet with the mayor and his staff during the course of developing the budget. And of course, there'll be some new elected officials as well. So I think that's the highlights. And thank you very much for listening.
Perfect. We're also then going to go on to number 12, discussion and possible action regarding Council File 11-1020-S like Sam 3, funding for budget advocates. We have previously, the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council previously voted in opposition to this council file. And the general manager of Department of Neighborhood Empowerment has made some, in quotes, clarifications. And there was a rebuttal that was forwarded by Reseda Neighborhood Council. The board members have received a copy of that rebuttal. And I think you want to speak to that, Glenn?
I'm available to answer any questions or maybe to jump in if I may with any clarifications, but I think Carol's fairly knowledgeable on this, and if you've looked at the documents. But I'm happy to respond based on how your discussion goes.
Okay, so basically what the reconsideration was that actually Dunn undertook to direct neighborhood councils both directly and via email and through neighborhood empowerment advocates that maybe they should reconsider their vote. which is not a good thing. When a neighborhood council votes, we don't need the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment telling us we maybe should reconsider it. But what she was basically saying is that the term budget advocates was a mistake, that it should have been budget advocacy. And way back when Mr. Mayor Hahn was mayor, he had a department that was called Mayor's Budget Advocates, and that's where the budget advocates came from. So the term is really a moot point. The point that we're trying to drive home is Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council, as well as other neighborhood councils, have forwarded funds to the budget advocates. They were the one and only group that had that title. About a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, the general manager of Dunn said, oh no, we've got another group and they would like some of that money as well. Well, the neighborhood, Lake Balboa, did not vote for the funds to be used by anyone who wished to use them. It was earmarked specifically to budget advocates. And by changing the name, she's then, I believe, eligible to spend the money or provide the funds to whichever group she wishes. And that's not good with me. The other thing is she said that budget advocates are not a city entity, therefore should not be getting money from neighborhood councils. Well, they've been getting money for, I don't know, the last 12, 15 years. City clerk had no issue with that. The only issue is that the general manager has an issue. So I just want to bring these forward because we're doing a dance here, and I don't like the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment trying to change the rules and trying to use funds in a way that it was not earmarked. Carol, do you have anything you'd like to add, or Glenn?
I would just like to say that the general manager is trying to put the budget advocates out of business, basically. She doesn't want us to be able to raise funds this way. She had previously suggested we could be a 501c3, which I'm not a budget advocate now, but I know that was being considered. But then the city clerk said, well, you can't get money that way either. So basically they're not, my understanding of where we left the situation when I left the budget advocates was that, you know, it was up in the air. Glenn may, as to whether we could get any notice from anybody. Glenn may have an update on that.
Glenn?
Thanks, Carol and Linda. A little bit of an update. So yes, Carol is exactly correct. The budget advocates are being squeezed in both directions by not being able to have the same control over the money, if you will. It's not really a good description of it, because the department always has the final say on the money because it is an account under the control of the department. But there's never been an issue in the past. Budget advocates had duly noticed meetings, duly voted to authorize expenditures for the purpose of budget advocates, and there was never a problem. And then, you know, squeezing in the other end, getting the money into the account by removing from the contribution form that the city clerk provides, and removing that option that neighborhood councils could direct it to a neighborhood council meant there was no more new monies coming in. And, you know, this problem kind of started back right after COVID, when the mayor directed each city department to give back 3% of its budget to help balance what was seen to be you know, a difficult financial situation as a result of reduced revenue for the city. And so Dunn, the department said, oh, well, the budget advocates have $50,000 sitting in their account. We can get most of that 3% that the city wants and just take that money from that account. Well, fortunately, the city controller shut that down, said that that was, I'm not sure the word is illegal, but basically not, it's not, you can't do that. It's basically what they say. You cannot use fund account money and in order to do this. So that was shut down. But that ever since then, that there have been these problems. I do want a slight update is that there are 3 neighborhood councils that did vote during this last fiscal year. So basically before June 1st, this past June 1st, they did vote to contribute monies to the budget advocates. Those 3 neighbor councils cumulatively don't, that amount was $6,000. And even though the budget advocates are not on the form currently, and we're working on that, the treasurers of each of those neighbor councils basically inputted a vendor name of the neighbor council budget advocates and submitted the payment, and it was approved by city clerk. And we've been able to verify that at least one of those checks has been cashed. Hopefully all of them have been cashed. I just realized I need to follow up on those, on all 3 of them. And so now we're just waiting to make sure that that money from those 3 neighbor councils totaling $6,000, in fact, is getting into the account of the budget advocates, because that would mean that, notwithstanding this, all these other issues, that the neighbor councils contributing money into the account, and then the second half is that the department approves the expenditures for the purposes that the budget advocates approved. So the bottom line is, yeah, the name, yes, the city made a mistake in terms of how they named it 10 years ago when they split the account. But the bottom line is the impact to you and to all the neighbor councils is that when as a result, the removal from the contribution form, the name of the budget advocates, that you could now select that or fill it in or whatever, meant we had an impasse for the past 2 years with regards to folks contributing until, again, just this past June or May, I guess, when these 3 neighbor councils did that. So stay tuned. This is an evolving situation, but for the purposes of this council file, this motion, what we're asking the city council to do, the city council committee and then the full city council, is to include instructions in this motion that was made that changed the name of the form, that it also includes specific instructions that the neighborhood councils could contribute, as they've had for more than 10 years in the past, directing their funds to the entity of their choice. This is a much bigger issue than just the budget advocates. This is everything dealing with the city and the authority of the neighborhood councils to decide to whom they wish to contribute monies, if, again, if it's a recognized viable entity, which certainly a entity being around for 20 years, sanctioned by Mayor Hahn, Mayor Virgosa, and Mayor Garcetti. I can't think of anything that's much more legitimate than that. So, so thank you for taking your action, for filing your community impact statement. And this could come up in August before the city council committee. Stay tuned. We certainly would appreciate your support. We've made communications with a couple of the council offices and who are in the valley, and we are hopeful that they will take the appropriate action as when the committee considers this item. And
sorry, Glenn. So as I understand it, the money is going to go into the pot, but my question is, how do you get the money out of the pot?
So right now, and I don't want anyone to be under the false impression that we have not been able to pay our bills, the bills associated with the budget advocates. We do an annual budget that includes certain expenses, including just running the group, which includes our website, which includes minute taker, certain expenses of budget day. Even though it's virtual, there are expenditures, and those bills have been paid by the department. And we've been assured by the general manager that they will continue to be paid.
Okay.
The one bill we had a point of contention was City Watch. We used to pay $1,000 a month to have a separate web page on City Watch that was specifically to deal with budget issues and under the control of budget advocates. And that became a point of contention, and which I don't need to go into right now, but it became a point of contention between the department and budget advocates. And so we dropped that continuation.
Okay, thank you. We've got another hand here from Lionel Mars.
Thank you, Linda. Did we pass public comment, or is it still on the agenda number 9?
No, we, at the beginning of the meeting, we said we were going to take these two items out of order so that we could accommodate Mr. Bailey.
Okay,
Thank you. Okay, so I would like that Lake Balboa reiterate our position on this particular council file. So I would like to move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council forward another statement in opposition of Council File 11-1020-S3.
Second,
Who seconded? Carol?
Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy. Okay. Linda Gravani made the motion. Jeremy seconded. Any further discussion?
Linda, Glenn again. There was some great wording. You may have put it in the Vank motion. If you recall, that last sentence. And maybe it's already in your community impact statement.
I don't know what you're referring to. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I don't have it right in front of me, but it was good wording. But again, hopefully it's already in there. But you may want to take a, when you refile, you might want to
Yes.
make reference to the Vank motion. And if it's not already
Perfect.
incorporated, if there's no objection, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Board, any other questions? Okay, let's take a vote. Linda, please.
Yes, in this particular case, does an I mean that we are in favor?
In favor, yes.
Very good, okay. James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Jasmine Garcia.
I just want to confirm, am I allowed to vote on this?
I believe you are.
Yes, because we're not voting for dollars.
Okay, then yes.
Okay. Linda Garani,
Yes.
Sandy Joseph,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica is excused, Miguel,
Yes.
Alan Nelson is ineligible, Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin is a yes. Jim Stein is excused. That gives us 11 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstained, 1 ineligible.
Thank you.
And a question, if I might, before we go on to the next item. On number 6, which had to do with billing conflicts, could possibly, maybe Lydia could give me a hand. Who made the motion and the second on number 6?
There was no motion. It was to identify if anyone had to recuse themselves. It's something that's going to be on the agenda from this point forward.
Information only.
Information only.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, now we're going to go back to number 7, announcements and reports. I don't see anyone here from LAPD. Deanna, you're here. Let me see where you are.
Hello.
Hi, there you are. You moved over already. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you. And I have a couple of updates. So as of this week, as some of you may have heard, the City Council voted to...
Before that, let me introduce you. You're Vienna Para, your field representative for Council District 6, Nuri Martinez, who is also Council President.
Thank you very much. Little excited to get started. Thank you. Hi, everybody. So this week, as some of you may have heard, the City Council voted to expand eligible zones for 4118, which is a ban on dwellings and encampments in certain public spaces. And the eligible zones that have been added are near school facilities and daycares. among a couple of others. So we should be seeing an increase in 4118 placements around the council district, but also in Lake Balboa near some schools and other facilities. Let's see, this next week, August 11th, we will be hosting a back to school event with New Economics for Women in Van Nuys. I can provide a poster very shortly. I know that we just announced this. We'll be providing school supplies to local families and students in partnership very close to Lake Balboa. Everyone, of course, is welcome and invited. So that's an exciting event we have coming up. On top of that, some of you may have noticed the Whitaker pedestrian crossway finally making some progress. So I don't think it's currently fully operational last time I checked, but I know that a lot of the actual elements and lighting has been put in. So we should see that working sometime this month. Otherwise, I am the Lake Balboa field deputy, as the neighborhood council president graciously said. If anybody here has any city issues I could assist with, there's currently a lot of tree trimming, resurfacing taking place in and around Lake Balboa. So if there's any issues that are city related, I would love to assist. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. We've got a hand raised, James Brown.
Yes, Vienna, welcome. It's nice to hear from you in our meeting. Question regarding 4118, and correct me if I'm wrong, the portion of 4118 that bans parking within certain proximities of schools, et cetera, is that 1,000 feet, and have those sites been identified with proper signage?
Yes, absolutely. It's similar to the current 4118 signage that is around. There would have to be signage put in place for this to be enforced. I believe it's 500 feet for school facilities, but I can get clarification on that. It's not something that would happen instantly.
Right, and if it's noticed that there are violations already, in spite of the signage being placed, if there are violations already, to who should the community report these violations to?
I think the senior lead officer for this area is a good start. Our office would be welcome to assist, but I think the senior lead would be an excellent start there.
Well, Lake Balboa has no senior lead for the area, so would that then be your office?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. Michael Cortez.
Deanna, thank you for your service. Appreciate it. This is probably an existing issue in the area, but at least I just recently caught it in my neighborhood, an increase of coyotes. And I don't know if any resources you have. I just saw some poor squirrels got, unfortunate situation with coyotes. And so I don't know if you have any resources to provide that I wasn't aware of.
It's relatively limited, but was there a particular location or street that you noticed this on?
Near Amistoy and like Burton.
Okay, I'm taking that down. I can reach out and let me see if there's anything we could do to assist there.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Looking down the list. For LAUSD Scott Schmerlson's office, I contacted Scott earlier this week, and I requested that LAUSD consider having an aviation magnet school within our boundaries. We have the Van Nuys Airport, and there's lots of positions available for young folks to build a career around. So he is going to look into that for us. He also advised me that Steve Zipperman is the new chief of school police, so FYI. Looking down the list, we have Brenda Yanez.
Thank you very much, Linda. Good evening, everyone. My name is Brenda Yanez. I am the field deputy for Supervisor Sheila Kill. Our office is based out of Van Nuys, but we do service approximately 15 other communities other than Van Nuys and Lake Balboa. So any county related issues or concerns that you may have, feel free to connect with me directly, and I'll be more than happy to provide you any assistance that I may be able to. I'll provide you some COVID-19 updates in regards to indoor masking. Dr. Barbara Ferrer did announce last week during her weekly media briefing on COVID-19 that the indoor masking mandate will no longer go into effect and won't go forward at this point because there are data elements that are indicating a decrease in positive COVID cases. This does mean we might be moving from a high community transmission level to a medium community transmission level. But, just continue to keep in mind that community transmission is still significant and indoor masking is still strongly advised. So take all the measures that you may be able to take to avoid getting COVID out there. I'm actually just recovering from COVID. So strongly just encouraging you all to stay safe out there, get boosted if you're not already boosted, or get vaccinated. Aside from COVID-19 updates, in regards to events, our office will be hosting our third Homeless Connect Day. This one will be taking place in San Fernando at Las Palmas Park on Wednesday, August 17 from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you know of anybody that it would be able to benefit from the resources provided at the Homeless Connect Day, feel free to send over or share a flyer that I'll be sending over to the neighborhood council later this week. And hopefully we'll be able to provide them with assistance on the spot at the Connect Day. Aside from Homeless Connect Day, Whiteman Airport Community Advisory Commission meetings are still in effect. We will be having our next meeting on Thursday, August 25th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. It will be a virtual meeting, so you can find all the Zoom link information, dial-in information at www.reenvisionwhiteman.airport.com. And then just very quickly, just throwing it out there, if you do know of any nonprofit organizations within Lake Balboa or just any nonprofits within the Supervisual District 3, feel free to send them over our way. Our office has 2 rounds of discretionary funding available for any nonprofit organization in the 3rd district. And the deadline for this last discretionary funding cycle is September 1st. It will be the last discretionary funding opportunity for nonprofits under Supervisor Kuehl's term. So feel free to send them over my way. More than happy to walk them through the process and ensure that they're a great candidate to perhaps receive funding. Other than that, like I mentioned at the beginning, if there are any county related questions and concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. My contact information is on the agenda. And other than that, thank you very much for the space, and I'm open to any questions if there are any.
Thank you. Would you repeat that? Reenvisionwhiteman.airport.com. Is that what you said the website was?
Yes, so that is www.reenvisionwhiteman.airport.com.
Okay, thank you. And Task would like to get some of your money. They have need for emergency chairs in case the elevators don't work. Their office is on, I think, the 2nd or 3rd floor, and they are in need of that. So I will send them your way. Ruth Doxey has a question.
Yes, Brenda, could you repeat the name of the park that the Homeless Connect Day is taking place at?
Yes, that would be Las Palmas Park in San Fernando.
Las Palmas. Okay. Thank you.
Pull up that address for you if you like, so you can note it down. But regardless, once I send out that flyer, all that information will be there, and it is going to be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. That address is 505 South Huntington Street in San Fernando, 91340.
Thank you.
Alberto has a question.
Go ahead.
Hi, Alberto.
Sorry, I wasn't sure when to interject, but my name is Alberto Vargas, and I am actually from Assemblymember Jesse Gabriel's office. And just just make a point that I'm here, and at some point I'd like to just quickly introduce myself again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Do we have your information on here? Let me see, Jesse Gabriel. How about you give us your contact?
Sure. So my email is my first name, Alberto.Vargas, my last name at ASM, and that's A as in Apple, S as in Sally, M as in Mary, .ca for California, .gov for government.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Alberto. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, and Michael Cortez.
Sorry, real quick. Brenda, if you have this information that you'll be sharing on social media, we can potentially share it if you're on Facebook or Instagram. So I'm the communications officer now, so I'm doing my way to get the resources out there to the community.
Okay, perfect. Can I have your email address? I could send that over to you right now.
Yes, it's michael@lakebalboanc.org.
Okay, perfect. I'll send that out right over. Thanks.
James Brown.
I'd like to ask Alberto what his position is with on the Jesse Gabriel staff. What's your position?
I'm a field representative.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
we'll be covering you guys once redistricting takes place in late December, start of January. But just want to start making introductions to the two new neighborhood councils we'll be taking on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Daniel Johnson, Department of Neighborhood Empowerment.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. It's past 7 o'clock. My name is Daniel Johnson. I am the NEA for the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. Bear with me. I have a few updates in regards to the monthly profile. First things first, would like for y'all to know that Mayor Eric Garcetti signed a declaration of local emergency on monkeypox. This was actually posted and signed on August 2nd. So you can find that not necessarily in your monthly profile, but for those folks that would like more information on what's going on, that allows me to proceed to provide a COVID-19 update as it relates to the neighborhood council system. So within the monthly profile, it says the city council has adopted 2 ordinances at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. That is, I want to make sure I get this right, Council File 21-0921. The ordinance is 187134. That is the COVID-19 vaccination requirement for all current and future city employees. The second is Council File 21-0878, Ordinance 187219, proof of full vaccination with COVID-19 vaccine required to enter certain public locations. We consider the implications of the Los Angeles Municipal Code, Section 20.120. That is vaccine required to enter certain public locations for in-person neighborhood council board and committee meetings. The corresponding coordinate number 187219 provides a definition of city facility. It includes the indoor portion of any building, structure, or premises belonging to or under the control of the city. Since a Brown Act meeting is considered to be under the control of the city, all requirements of the ordinance will be applicable to neighborhood council meetings, even private facilities. The control applies to the duration of the meeting, including use of pre and post-meeting space preparation. Therefore, if it becomes possible for neighborhood councils to hold in-person board or committee meetings during the time of the ordinance, 187219 is in effect, the location where the meeting is held will fall under the same vaccination protocols as a city facility. So at this time, I want you all to know the department continues to be a telework department. The downtown and Van Nuys offices are closed to the public. And I want to be clear that neighborhood councils continue to be required to hold meetings virtually. This rule was adopted by the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners earlier this year and is reaffirmed at each commission meeting. So I just wanted to start with that in regards to a COVID-19 update. I know a lot of NCs always ask Daniel, when are we going back into a in-person meeting? I just wanted to make sure I provided that update in regards to if we move back in person, that there are vaccination requirements that are at place that was set by the city, okay? Just wanted to start there with that. Know that was a lot to grapple with, but bear with me. There are 2 jobs available. If you know anyone looking to work with the department, they are Inclusive Engagement Advocate 1 and number 2. Number 1 will support NC meeting events and elections. Number 2 will be more word heavy. They'll do more word writing and working with the communications division of our department. So I wanted to make that clear. In regards to recusal, I know we have one person that identified, one NC leader that identified a conflict of interest. Please make sure you reach out to the city attorney in regards to getting guidance on that. If you have not done that, I'm going to ask that, of course, you table that agenda item. And again, that is at the discretion of the board. But want to make sure that's clear that you always seek guidance from the city attorney first before you take it upon yourself, anyone for that matter, to recuse yourself. That is always going to be the first step. If you don't follow that first step, automatically table it, please.
I'm going to correct you on that. The city attorney wants us to ask permission and authorization when there's money involved. There's no money involved in this particular council file, and it's a conflict of interest for this particular board member. So this board member will not be there for any of the voting. There's no dollars and cents involved.
Okay.
We've got a couple hands raised, and if you could, Daniel, in future, if you're going to rattle off all the council files and stuff, we would like it ahead of time so that we would have it. I would appreciate that. Jeremy?
Just to note, that was submitted July 29th to all board members via the listserv you all have. I just reiterated that as a highlight because I know that is a very important topic for the NCs, but I'll take your advice.
Understood, but we've got attendees that have no idea what you're talking about.
Got you. Look,
anyway, Jeremy, Jeremy, and then Gary.
Daniel, I just wanted to clarify. So if a board member is unvaccinated, that they would not be able to attend in-person meetings. Is that correct?
It doesn't. I can take that back to the department and seek clarity in regards to that. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because it doesn't clearly state that. Another question I did get was in regards to the exempt status and proof of negative test, which again is not listed in this update at all either. So I will take that back to the department and ask that question for you.
Yeah.
Actually, in the profile, I have this as an item for discussion. It basically says that a neighborhood council meeting is a city meeting, therefore vaccination is required, period. And that's in the profile. So yes, vaccinations would be required as the item states in the monthly profile. Gary?
Thank you. Daniel, is there any information as to who's going to be enforcing and checking COVID vaccinations when we're back in person meetings and enforcing it and not admitting people?
I want to say not at the moment, because I know that's not in the boundaries of my authority as an NEA. So not at the moment. We aren't engaging in those discussions, at least at my level in the department.
Thank you.
As soon as I get that information, of course, I'll roll that out to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stacy Rotter.
Hi, on that note, I was curious what the guidelines will specifically be for vaccinated versus not. Like if someone is over 50, does fully vaccinated for them mean that they have to have had 4 shots? So some very clear guidelines, Daniel, around what that means would, I think, really be helpful. Because what if somebody has not had a booster, but they've had all their others? So I was just curious. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Stacy.
you. Appreciate that.
Okay, that's it. Okay, so we don't have a number 8, so we're going to skip to number 9, public comment. People in the public, please advise the neighborhood council if you are a registered lobbyist. Comments from the public on non-agenda items, issues, announcements, and complaints within the jurisdictions of the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council. The state of California's Brown Act prevents the board from discussing your comments, so please don't think we're rude. We can't discuss it. You can also email your thoughts to Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council President, which is myself, Linda G, at lakebalboanc.org. You have 2 minutes per speaker. James, would you keep watch? Thank you.
Yes.
Number 1, Lionel.
Yes.
Hi.
Unmute Lionel.
My name is Lionel, and I'm a resident of Sun Valley. I lived my entire life in the San Fernando Valley, and I attended schools here, and I'm publicly and actively engaged in my neighborhood councils, city council. So I'm here to make a comment regarding about the LA Municipal Code 4118. I was there and I read the council files, and I've been urging other neighborhood councils to work together collaboratively and cooperatively, because the issue of homelessness has increased, not decreased, due to several economic factors, loss of jobs, unemployment. And I feel like from what I've heard from each district in LA City and from different neighborhood councils, from what I've heard from the people, what they're saying is that there's an influx of unhoused neighbors in their districts. What's going on is when the city is using this law to criminalize or to prohibit encampments, we're forcing unhoused people to move from place to place. So in certain areas, we might see an influx. So I frequently go to Lake Balboa Park. So I know there are some unhoused people living in the shadows because they're trying to find somewhere where they will not be, I guess, harassed by LEPD or sanitation. So my point is we have to work together to provide long-term solutions, such as long-term housing models, pathways that will lead to long-term housing with social services, employment services, mental health services, drug and alcohol addiction services. And because many of these individuals who are unhoused, not all of them, but many of them have mental illness because it has been exacerbated. The longer they are unhoused, the more severe the symptoms of mental illness, because they lack access to food and water and medications. So I went to graduate school, so we need to help them, not criminalize them further. Thank you.
Thank you. Glenn Bailey.
Guess I'm unmuted now. Okay, Glenn Bailey, speaking as individual. First of all, with regards to the discussion of meeting in person, hybrid, et cetera, if it wasn't mentioned, the work group that the hybrid work group 2.0 prepared a report that is linked from the agenda for the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners for their July 18th meeting, July 18th. Take a look at that agenda. You'll see a link to their report. Now, that's not the be all end all the answers, but it raises a whole bunch of issues, including some, technology and alternatives and staffing and et cetera. So it's a work in progress, but it is the collective efforts of neighborhood council folks, as well as Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, ITA, et cetera, on this issue, for those of you interested in that. Number 2, I don't know if the Council District 6 rep is still present or not, but I did want to comment regarding the clearing of weeds along some of the streets that are in the Sepulveda Basin. So Balboa Boulevard, south of Victory, down to Burbank. Burbank Boulevard median, this is in the medians, center medians. Burbank Boulevard between Balboa Boulevard and the 405 freeway, and Woodley Avenue, south of Victory, down to Burbank Boulevard. Every year, whether we get a little rain or a lot of rain, weeds come up in these medians. And I know CD6 is working on it, getting money and having the LA Conservation Corps get it done, hopefully by September. But, you know, we're months and months and months into potential fire season. I mean, we're all year round fire season. But, you know, when it's expected that the rains will end, whenever it is, when this year, December, but, you know, it could be March, April. I mean, the weeds should be cleared then. They should not be allowed to keep growing and then dry out and be a fire hazard for months and months and months. And this is an annual thing. Somebody in the city needs to take responsibility for taking care of this every single year. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Next is going to be Christina. And Christina, I think you're new to attending the neighborhood council meeting. So I just want to clarify for you that the city, the Brown Act, the state of California's Brown Act says if it's not on the agenda, we can't discuss it. And the reason for that is if people knew that we were going to discuss it, they might have joined the meeting. So that's why we can't discuss it. So I just want you to be aware that we're just going to listen.
Okay, thank you. My name is Christina, and I've lived in this neighborhood for 15 years. And a month ago, I've been trying to make everybody aware there's a house at 6532 Gloria and Haynes. They're building a business location in our R1 residential area. It's an elderly care facility. Now, about a month ago, they started building a 3,000 square foot building that looks like a storage. It's 85 feet long, 22 feet wide, and 20 feet high. It's 2 feet away from my property line, just 7 feet away from my house, ready to, you know, provoke a fire. The fire department will not be able to come in there. And I've been trying with no success to get anybody at the council office, Nuri Martinez, Rihanna Para, nobody responds to me. The Department of Building and Safety is saying that this is suspicious, but they're doing nothing about it. It's a 2-story building, even though it's permitted for 1 story. So I'm asking for help at the next door, at the council. I'm now here. I need help because they want to build another one exactly like that. People in this knowledge have told me it could be a grow house, and that's even more concerning for us as a community in the neighborhood. We're living here like normal people, and it's being taken over like a business. And I'm really scared, and I need help. I've been talking to so many people, and nobody's responding back to me in a right manner. I've read the whole code and zoning book, ordinances, and I'm not getting anywhere with the Department of Building and Safety to get clear answers why they have permitted such a building, even though they're saying they're not building to the permit. Nobody's stopping them, and not the Nuri Martinez office, not Robert Gould, nobody I'm talking to is really helping me. So I would like to, if it's possible, if anybody wants to write down my phone number, please give me a call.
I would prefer that you not give out your phone number, but if you would please send me an email, lindag@lakebalboanc.org.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And so I'm really.
Time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Be sure to send me an email, Christina, okay? Okay, we're up to number 10, President's Update. It has been determined that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council will continue using Aaron Devandry as our webmaster, communications officer, and Ruth Doxey and Linda Schwering and myself have determined that we'll continue using his services. It was unfair that we didn't give him updates in a timely manner, so we're going to try to get a handle on that. September 9 of 2022, which is next month, we will celebrate, Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council, will celebrate 18 years of service to the community, and that's something that's quite remarkable. And I don't know if we should have a party or what, but just FYI, it's coming up. Number 3, for neighborhood council in-person meetings in the future, all participants will need to show proof of COVID vaccination. I don't know who's going to do it, like we were just mentioning with Daniel. I didn't sign on to be somebody to double check people's vaccination. I believe neighborhood council meetings then will only be via Zoom, because I'm not going to take on that personal responsibility whether somebody can or cannot join our meeting. I just want you to all be aware of that, and Daniel had mentioned it as well. Dunn will be paying for one Zoom access through April 2023. So May 2023 to April 2024, Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council will need to reimburse Dunn. So it appears that we're going to be using Zoom up until 2024. So just FYI. Congress of Neighborhoods is going to be on September 24, 2022. If you go to neighborhoodcongress.la, if you want to register for that later this month, you can do that. And there's all information available. We are now on to, we've done number 11 and number 12. So we're now on number 13, discussion of possible action regarding the resignation of board member Sandy Joseph, effective tomorrow, 8/4/2022. Sandy?
Thank you very much, Linda. I'm resigning effective tomorrow, 8/4/2022, from the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council for 2 reasons, and I wanted to make them clear. The first reason is the family issues. My 93-year-old mom has dementia now and needs my attention almost full time, so I need to be available for her. That's my reason number 1. Reason number 2, though, deals with the neighborhood council itself and its relationship with the city. It's become my opinion that the city does not want us to be successful in taking care of our neighborhoods. They will stop us however they can. I've done my best I could for LBNC, and I've tried my hardest for the EP committee. But every time I've tried to do something for the betterment of the community and to try to carry on the legacy of Linda Pruitt, it hasn't worked. Every time I've tried to do something, there has been a roadblock, especially about the bins, which is heartbreaking because we need those bins. I never wanted to be chair of EP, but I did my best. It has become too much for me. I was going to stay on the board as long as I felt I had a purpose. I no longer feel that way. I have hit my limit as to what I am willing to take. I hope that the LBNC, as well as other neighborhood councils, will eventually be able to turn the situation around. I want to say that I very much enjoyed working with Linda Gravani, and it's largely because of Linda that I stayed on the neighborhood council as long as I have. I think it's like 7 or 8 years. Also, I wish all of you the best on a personal basis, and I want to thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you. I have always said family first. Neighborhood councils are a volunteer position, although we are elected, and I don't want anyone to feel hostage. Unfortunately, I agree with Sandy that the city makes it extremely difficult for us to accomplish anything. And most of the things that I seem to be involved in is fighting the city to get them to listen, number 1. Number 2 is to respect us. Daniel is still here from Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. His title is NEA, Neighborhood Empowerment Advocate. I have never heard anyone at Dunn advocate for anything for the neighborhood councils. So I really, I understand 100%. I'm very saddened that you're leaving, but don't leave with a heavy heart. You've contributed so much to our community. And I know your passion is emergency preparedness. So I know that you won't be too far away. You'll still wear your green vest at an occasion or two. But I want to thank you for all that you've done for us. And sadly, we accept. James, you have a comment?
I'd just like to let Sandy know that I do have a uniform relative to community patrol because we can still use you whenever you have the opportunity. We have a uniform that has your name on it.
Thank you, James. I appreciate it.
Very good. Very good. Okay, we'll move on to number 14, discussion and possible regarding the future of emergency preparedness bins. Okay, the city funding clerk stated that neighborhood councils are not allowed to have emergency preparedness bins. Well, we found documentation from Steve Leffert when he was president, which is long before I joined the neighborhood council, which is like 12 years ago, that there is documentation that we can have emergency bins at Stagg Street School and at Woodley Park. So that is not correct. They just don't want to fund it. And for whatever reason, funding it is an issue. And I believe that's what really took Sandy over the edge, being told that we cannot do something great for the community. So I got to thinking and I said, maybe we're doing this wrong. I think the liability that they're worried about is that we, the neighborhood council, are going to go out there and start bandaging people and rescuing people from burning buildings. That's not what the bins are for. The bins are there for LAPD and LA Fire, period. And I think we need to look at this maybe from a different viewpoint. So Carol Parks is General Manager of Emergency Management Department. One of her 5 divisions is Community Preparedness and Engagement. I think they would like to know that we have 2 bins for their service, that maybe we need to contact this Carol Parks and say, hey, we've got funds available to replenish the bins, take over the bins. So I'm not sure where this is going to go, but I will contact the department to see if they would support the bins, or maybe it's LA Fire that would support the bins because they've got rescue equipment in there. They've got cots, we've got bandages, we've got all kinds of things in case there's an emergency. So we need to get them involved. So that's what I'm going to start working on. James Brown and then Linda Schwerin.
I'd just also like to add that LAPD would like to know about it as well. I have a firsthand knowledge that they were totally and completely unaware of the existence of said bins.
Right. Linda Schwerin and then Gary. You're muted, Linda.
With regard to the bins, this is not something we haven't discussed before. I think most of us who've been on the board are aware of that. Those that haven't, I will mention this again. The bins, as far as their placement in the past, the city had said that we should not have them, that we should take them and turn them over, give control, okay, not to the NC, perhaps to the city of LA, or maybe a different department. Things have changed the last few years. But the idea initially was the fact that, okay, we had them. We spent over $50,000 for the bins. We have been working on emergency preparedness for years and expanding our efforts all throughout our community in Southern California. And the idea earlier was, okay, the bins should not belong to Lake Balboa. They should be turned over to the city and they should be managed and run, but not by us. That's my comment.
Thank you. Gary?
Let me please start off by saying that I'm definitely pro the bins, pro EP, pro first responders. During the pandemic, before Linda Pruitt's passing, Sandy, Linda Pruitt, Mary, and myself went to the bins. Way back when I first joined the neighborhood council and the EP committee, the bins were discussed and presented as something for CERT members, community emergency response team members, so that those folks, the green vest folks, can serve the community. I understand the liability issues, but so that CERT members would have access to supplies, because we were told we're not going to be able to rely on first responders, LAPD, fire department, and so forth, because they're going to be tending to bigger hospitals, retirement homes, not little community or neighborhoods. So since Linda Pruitt's passing, and again tonight, I'm hearing that this stuff would be accessible to LAPD and to the fire department. And that seems to go against, I mean, if they come, I understand that if they come and they, for lack of better words, raid the bins, then there's not, and they take them to the hospital, then there's nothing there for the community members, which is what the bins were set up for. So not to dump more on Sandy as she's leaving, resigning, but I think that we need some clarity as to who these supplies are for. And I think before we spend, I know it's another agenda item, but before we spend more money on replenishing supplies, that we figure this out, and that whoever ends up taking over EP, I'm almost done, whoever ends up taking over as EP chair, that we come up with a system, that they come up with a system, or the committee does, as to how those supplies are going to be dispersed amongst the community. Is it CERT members from all over the valley, or is it just Lake Balboa? Many of the folks, the CERT members that are come to the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council EP meetings are CERT members from other neighborhood councils. And it seems that it's not fair to our community if we are continuing to put money into the bin for our stakeholders, our community, and then it's stuff that's going to go to other parts of the valley. So I just
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Ruth, you had your hand raised. You changed your mind? Okay, Linda, you have something more to add?
I do. Initially, and perhaps this is pre Gary's involvement with emergency preparedness, the bins were specifically, obviously, for emergencies and disaster. And I'm going to read you part of what this is initially for, and it's ongoing, and perhaps it hasn't been stressed recently.
What are you reading from, Linda?
I am reading from the city's approval of funds for supplies to our bins in the past. And they approved the funds, and it was definitely stated how these funds were to be used.
Do you have a date?
This is February 3rd, 2016, and there are others. One is initially August 5th, 2015. Okay. And this specifically states that this is for emergency, and it's for, oh wait, I picked up the wrong one. Excuse me. This was for training. I'm sorry. It's number 18. It's from the agenda in February 2016, which states specifically, I don't have it in front of me, but I can almost tell you by heart. Emergencies, LAFD, LAPD, emergency responders, and qualified community CERT representatives. Okay, that did not mean that just because you said you were CERT that you were able to go and have access. This was for qualified people. Granted, today people don't get ID badges for CERT. That may be an issue now, but initially this was and still is disaster supplies, LAFD, LAPD, first responders, and then qualified CERT personnel, Lake Balboa. That's all.
Thank you, Linda.
Daniel?
Thank you, Linda, for calling on me. And then thank you, Linda, for sharing that as well. Could you please forward that to me? And if I could add just a little bit of guidance, Please reach out to Coastal San Pedro. I don't know if anyone on the board is familiar with them. They're going through the same process. What I can say, working with them, the city clerk wanted to make sure that it was provided through an MPG, meaning it kind of relinquished the neighborhood council of liability and risk of like trying to house those bins and provide oversight to them. So as long as you partner with the nonprofit, I feel like it shouldn't be a problem. But thank you for raising this concern, Sandy, and I'm gonna do the best to support this.
Sandy?
I just want to thank Linda Schwaring for what you said. That's absolutely true. Linda's Pruitt's vision was always for LAPD, LAFD, first responders, and then ultimately CERT trained Lake Balboa neighborhood, council people to man the bin and to be able to give the supplies to the appropriate people. It was never about, giving it to somebody else to do whatever they want with it. It's always been and always will be, well, maybe not, but it's always been about neighborhood, Lake Balboa. And I hope that I hope you guys can carry it forward. And I hope that you vote for the supplies to replenish the bin, because ultimately we're on this board for as long as we are, for the betterment of the community and nothing more. Thank you.
Stacy Rotter and then James Brown.
Linda, it's like you have a camera to know when my hands are full and I need to unmute. And if you have a camera, please let me know. The one thing that I was going to say is that, I am also fully in support of first responders and making sure that supplies are available. The one thing, so this is not about that. The one thing that I would offer for the board to consider, if they choose to retain, I guess ownership is maybe not the right word, but it's the one that's coming to mind. If LBNC chooses to retain ownership of these bins, maybe prior to whether it's the expenditure or at least the physical replenishment, making it clear, like identifying who is and should have access in terms of like LAPD and LAFD, because if the intention is to include them, and James Brown mentioned they're not aware that they have access, maybe identifying not people by name, but people in certain positions and getting them to acknowledge, even, send them an email, get them to respond in some way so that they know there is accountability, that they're aware that these resources are there for them as first responders for our community. Thanks.
Thank you, Stacy. I think the difficulty comes in is that people move on to different positions in the police department, as well as fire department, as well as Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council. The information that was obtained originally didn't come to Sandy nor I until just recently. Why? I don't know, but we didn't have that specific information and now we've just received it. So I think that's the difficulty. And personally, I don't want to be fighting for something that's been there for such a long time. I have too many other things I'd rather be doing. And I don't think that we need to be fighting the city for something that's so gracious as providing access to bins that might be needed for our stakeholders. I think is ridiculous. Why is it so difficult? I don't know why it's so difficult.
Linda, I couldn't agree more. But my point was about making sure that people who the NC thinks knows that they have access to this, that they actually do. That's all. I'm fully in support of having the bins.
No, I agree. I'm not debating you.
That's all.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I just
I'm
wasn't
not
sure if I was
debating
clear.
that.
So thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm not debating that. But the problem is that the people that work at the fire department move on. They go to different places, they get promoted, etc. The same thing. Captain Egan was the police captain when I first joined the neighborhood council, and we've had what, 3 or 4 since then, right, James?
5.
You're next.
Okay, I just wanted to add to what Linda Swearing was saying. I was looking at a EP agenda dated May 7th of 2015, and it specifically indicated all of those entities that you indicated, Linda Swearing, police, fire, qualified cert, et cetera, et cetera. So it goes back fairly a great distance. The only other thing I would say is that while on patrol just earlier this week, I noticed that there was a locked chain link fence that is actually guarding, I should say, locking the bin. So should there be an emergency, we'd be hell bent to provide emergency supplies for those that would be able to use them.
Right. And just for everyone's clarification, the first year the neighborhood councils where Lake Balboa became certified, and that was 18 years ago next month, the funds, the $50,000 funds were used to purchase the bins. So they've been around for 18 years. So FYI. Okay, to be continued. Number 15, discussion and possible action regarding emergency preparedness committee and meetings. I don't know if anyone has a burning desire to be chair of the EP committee. If so, raise your hand. That's kind of what we thought. So until further notice, the EP committees will no longer be meeting. And Sandy said she will notify the people that were regulars that it's going to be discontinued until further notice, until we figure out what we're going to do with the EP committee. Number 16, discussion and possible action regarding West LA Safety Fair. And they were asking for $4,000. There was no documentation with it, but it was just recently received a neighborhood purposes grant. The thing that was really interesting to me was the difficulty that we're having with our emergency preparedness bin. The Greater Los Angeles Safety and Preparedness Fair has a wonderful flyer with Mayor Garcetti promoting safety and promoting being prepared. That's the NPG. And normally I would put all the NPG, the funding things together, but we just received that actually today, and I thank you for that. And I think, let's see, Candy, did you want to speak about this?
Cindy?
Hi, my name is Cindy Kane, and also another team member, William Keith is on the call as well. So, perhaps.
Okay, you want William to speak?
Yes, I'll let William speak.
Okay, William, there you are, William. Hi.
Hi. And do I have the ability to present a short slide deck? I think it's 5 slides.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I understand that I don't have permission yet to share my screen. And if I don't have ability, then I can always.
Yeah, why don't you just, I apologize. We weren't prepared for that.
William, you can speak for 2 minutes. Oh, somebody.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. Sorry about that. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to present the 4th annual Greater Los Angeles Safety and Preparedness Fair. The fair will be held on November 13th at Exposition Park at the Green Lot. The city has asked us to move the fair from its original location, which was on the west side, more inland, to be more centrally located for Angelenos. I heard you earlier that we were talking about Linda Pruitt, and Linda and Bill did a wonderful job with the Valley Fair, and we're trying to create an opportunity for Angelenos to have a similar opportunity to prepare themselves in the event of an emergency, and that's what the safety fair is for. We have endorsements from the fire department, the mayor's office, and LAEMD, and we're trying to do exactly what the Valley Fair did. Have opportunities for not only first responders to engage with the community, but also for our VOEDs, volunteer organizations in disaster, like Red Cross, Team Rubicon, CERT, and other programs, to have that one-on-one connection with the community and hopefully get them trained up in the event that we have something tragic happen in Los Angeles County. The safetyfair.org is where you can see the content from our previous fairs. We are having an issue where WordPress and the hosting provider is having a little issue. I don't know if that site is up yet. It was down a few days ago when I tried to get on it. And I know that Jeff Sanfield there in the Valley is working with us to get that up and ready. James, how much of the 2 minutes do I still have left? You're on mute, James.
24 seconds.
24 seconds. Okay. So thank you there. Thank you. So we understand that this is a big topic that Angelinos need to have, especially those that are in communities that don't have much of a first responder, neighborhood component. And so we wanted to give that opportunity for people to come out, visit with folks, and also to get some supplies like they did in the Valley Fair. And thank you for the opportunity to present to Lakewood Balboa Neighborhood Council.
Thank you.
Thank you. So number 16 on the agenda, discussion and possible action regarding West LA Safety Fair, asking for $4,000 for a neighborhood purposes grant. If you could, Michael, show that NPG, please.
Should I stop sharing?
Yes. That would be great. So I can share my screen.
Yeah. How do I do that, Michael? I've never had.
On the top, you just press stop sharing.
Okay, so I'll just make a motion so that we can get on with this and we can have a discussion. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council support the West LA Safety Fair for neighborhood purposes grant for $4,000. Is there a second?
Second.
Sorry, who? James Brown. Linda Gravani made the motion. James Brown seconded. Discussion, please. No discussion? Carol?
You're muted, Carol. There you go.
The only thing I wonder about, I mean, I'm fine with supporting it. Do we want to give them $4,000? I mean, we're only in August. Do we want to give them $4,000 or something less? I would suggest something less, but supporting them.
I don't know if I can raise my own hand, but I'll recognize me. I know that it's a great cause because we've done that in the Valley. I personally would prefer our neighborhood council money stay in the Valley for anything that perhaps the foundation, the Emergency Preparedness Foundation, would could use the money. And that's a big chunk of change that we could use perhaps to upgrade the things in the bins. Stacy Rotter.
That was similar to my question. Is this event in lieu of the Valley Fair ever happening again? Is it now just going to be one centralized fair?
No, this is a request by another group in West LA.
Okay.
Sandy.
Okay, thank you. I think it's a worthy cause. I think it's a lot of money. I'd like to keep the money in the Valley. I would be willing to vote yes for a lesser amount, but I will vote no for the amount that's requested because I think it's important that we represent the Valley. But again, I think it's a great cause. Thank you.
Linda Schwerin? You're muted. Before you unmute, Stacy, did you raise your hand again? Okay, Linda?
I'm in complete agreement with Sandy Joseph.
Gary Kay?
I agree with Sandy Joseph as well.
Does anybody want to make a new motion or a continuation, or Glenn Bailey?
Glenn Bailey. So I was on the organizing committee along with some of you in this room for the Valley Disaster Preparedness Fair. And I'd just like to remind everyone that the Valley Neighborhood Councils then started off with probably about 10 of us. Was $500 per year to get it going, and then the prices increased, and ultimately in the final year it was $1,000. It was $750 for most of the councils, but the ones that were in closer proximity was $1,000. That was for our Valley Fair. So I just want to keep that in perspective in terms of the amounts that we gave for something that was probably within a 5-mile radius or less of your neighborhood council. And to strongly encourage the promoters, the sponsors of this event, to consider maybe next year locating it in the valley, and perhaps then the Valley Neighborhood Councils might be willing to give monies closer to what we gave, the $750 to $1,000 that we gave to support the Valley Disaster Preparedness Fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Carol Newman.
I make a motion that we give this organization $1,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, Carol Newman made a new motion, seconded by James Brown. Discussion? Steve Leffert?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you, Steve.
I think, Carol, do you just want to make an amendment to the motion to reword the amount?
Yes, whatever the proper procedure is, that's what I wish to do.
Okay.
No further.
Amended motion? Is that correct?
Yes. Okay, let's take a vote. Oh, we got a hand raised panelist. Who is it? Ruth Doxey?
Don't we have to vote first on the original motion and then we can vote on the amended?
No, it's the other way around.
Oh, all right.
You vote on the amendment and then you vote on the original. Correct, Steve?
You vote on the amendment, and then the amendment makes it, if it passes, it makes it the motion, and then you vote on it again as the main motion.
I know, it's very confusing to me. I still don't get it. Okay.
So we're voting on the amendment now, right?
Right, the $1,000.
I call for the vote.
Linda, you ready?
Yes. James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Jasmine Garcia is ineligible. Next is Linda Gravani.
No.
Lydia is excused. Sandy Joseph.
No.
Next is Gary Kay.
Yes.
Danica Middleton is excused. Miguel.
Yes.
Alan Nelson is ineligible. Carol Newman.
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
No.
Linda Schwering, no. Jim Stein is absent. So that gives us 6 yeses, 4 noes, 0 abstain, and 1 ineligible. That means the motion passes, correct?
Yes.
I think it should be 2 ineligible.
2 ineligible. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. 2 ineligible. Jasmine is also ineligible, excuse me. So ineligible is 2. Thank
Ruth
you.
Doxey?
So we just voted for the amendment to be the main amendment. It hasn't, no, nothing's, I mean, no money has been granted yet.
We just voted for $1,000 on the MPG.
No, we voted for the amended motion to be the main motion.
Correct.
In the amount of $1,000, am I right?
Yes, but now we still need to vote again.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Carol?
I just have a question with respect to the people who voted no. Is that because they thought it was too little or too much? Anybody, if anybody wants to respond.
I'll respond for me. I applaud the effort, but I would rather spend the money for something in the valley, to be very honest. And we don't know yet if there's going to be anything happening. We just got our new budget, so we have the full amount of money. But I would like to think that the valley is going to have some kind of an emergency preparedness, or if the valley doesn't, that maybe the neighborhood council would come to maybe Louise Park or Woodley Park and have some kind of thing for the community. And for that, we would need money. Anyone else want to identify?
No, I agree. I think it's too much personally. I don't mind giving a little, but I think it's too much to give when more can be done in the valley. Again, I think it's a valiant thing, but I don't think the amount of money is appropriate for them. I think the lesser amount, I would have probably voted yes.
I agree.
The lesser amount being less than $1,000.
Yes.
So now we need to vote again, and we're voting on
The amendment.
No, we're voting on the original NPG request.
You're now voting to approve $1,000 for the organization for the event.
Right.
That's what we just voted on, correct?
Right.
You voted on the amendment.
You voted on amending that motion to say 1,000 instead of 4,000.
Right.
Now you're voting on it. It has become the main motion. So now you're voting on it as a main motion. A $1,000 amount.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, thank you. Main motion is, we're back to the main motion, which is the original motion for $4,000, correct?
No, we're voting to support a neighborhood purposes grant for $1,000 for the West LA Safety Fair.
Okay, so the original $4,000 motion is gone.
It's now $1,000. So we're voting on a motion for $1,000 for an NPG. So yes means you're supporting it, no means you're not.
The amendment meant that it was amending that $4,000 figure to be $1,000. So everything else, all the rest of the wording is the same, just the amount has been amended.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the amended motion for item number 16, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the time is 8:15.
Thank you, Linda.
And the vote is James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Jasmine Garcia is ineligible. Linda Gravani,
No.
Lydia is excused. Sandy Joseph,
No.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica is excused. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure my eyes are following here. Oh,
Yes.
Alan Nelson is ineligible. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering, no. Jim Stein is absent. So that gives us 6 yeses, 3 nos.
I didn't vote.
Excuse me?
Miguel, did you vote? Oh, sorry.
Yes, he did. Okay. We have 2 ineligible, 0 abstained. So 6-3, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for supporting this event. Look forward to
Thank
seeing
you.
This is
in the budget.
Lydia.
Lydia Grant.
Yeah, I have a different number. So I have 7. And the 3 no's were Gravani, Joseph, and Schwering. You have 7?
Correct.
Yeah, so Brown, Cortez, Doxy, K, Miguel, Newman, and Pisanik voted yes. All right, let me double check that. You are correct. Okay.
Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you. Thank
7.
you.
No problem. 7. Thank you, Lydia. No problem. It's hard when you don't do it all the time, and I am catching it on purpose to make sure we catch everything.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Sorry, I voted no. Number 17, discussion and possible action regarding Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council open board seats. Currently, we have 2 organizational seats open and effective tomorrow, August 4, 2022, we'll have 1 residential seat. The application can be found on Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council's website, www.lakebalboanc.org, under About, and then you find board member application, and please forward the completed application to Linda G at lakebalboanc.org. The bylaws are on the agenda that we need to advise the stakeholders that there are openings, and we've done that. An organizational seat is anyone that's 18 years or older who participate in a community-based organization, including but not limited to a religious institution, educational institution, nonprofit organization, neighborhood association, school/parent group, faith-based group, senior group, youth group, arts association, service organization, boys or girls clubs, cultural group, or environmental group within the neighborhood council boundaries. A residential representative shall be any person whose primary residence or living space is located within the neighborhood council's boundaries, whether in a home, apartment, condominium, or other accommodation. So we're looking around for some folks to fill those open seats and have as much fun as we are having. Thank you. Number 18, discussion of possible action regarding election information worksheet for Sunday, June 18, 2023, Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council election.
Linda, question, because there was no number 8, is our numbering?
No, we're not changing it. We're leaving the numbers the same because it'll be very confusing otherwise.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, so this worksheet was due the 1st of August, and of course we didn't meet, so we need to do that today. The election liaison person at Department of Neighborhood Empowerment is Lanny Basuta. And I have no phone number for her, but it is on the agenda. So the first thing we have to determine is the hours of operation. Are we going to do 4 hours or 6 hours? And that is voting in person. People will come we can have the location open for 4 hours or 6 hours. What is our preference?
What's been the last time we did that? How many hours?
It was in 2016 and we were 6 hours.
10 to 4.
Lynn Schwerin?
Yeah, we did from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the last elections. That's correct, 6 hours.
Say we keep it the same.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Yeah, it's a Sunday, unfortunately. And there are people that are going to be going to church. Not that there's going to be droves of people, I can guarantee you that. But the people that will come will be coming after church or before doing things with their family. So 10 to 6 would be appropriate. But we need to vote on it. So
10 to 6 would be 8 hours.
biggie.
10 to 4 would be 6 hours. Yeah.
Okay, so shall we vote for a 6 hour window?
Yes.
Do we have to make it formal? I move Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council select 6 hour window for our election.
Linda, this is Lydia.
Yeah.
You can put it all together in one motion if you'd like.
That would save time, I would guess.
What you would do is you would say, is there anyone who objects to doing 6 hours? If there's no objections, then you know that's okay and you move to the next item. And that way you can put it all in one motion.
Okay, that's good. Glenn Bailey?
Yes, I agree. You'll notice at the bottom of the form, it asks for a vote count. So that has to be a vote count on the entire document. So however you get there, you ultimately
Okay.
at the end will have
Okay.
a final vote.
Okay, so we'll do 6. We don't have to be filling that out right now. So what times would we like? 10 to 4 like we did previously? Anyone opposed to 10 to 4? Okay, perfect. Polling location. The last time, 2016, we were at Gulf Street School. We used the auditorium. That was where we held our meetings. And it cost, I think, about $300 for that particular day because it was a Sunday. I'm not sure. In 2017-18, we were paying about $110 a month for the use of the facility. So it's an easy facility. It's ADA approved. And there's parking and there's a good enough distance away for us to be to meet and greet without being too close to the voting facility itself. Michael, you had a question?
I'm okay now. Thank you.
Okay. Linda Schwerin?
Okay. We do not actually know if Galt Street School is still considered ADA. I hope so. But I think for this purpose, I would list the Park VNY as first choice, and alternate would be Galt Street Elementary.
We're not allowed to use the facility, Park VNY. We do not have that welcome mat out at this moment in time, and I think perhaps it should be reversed. I think we should do Gulf Street School and then Park VNY.
Agreed.
Because it makes no sense to use that as our first choice when they've pulled the welcome mat out.
Yeah, they reneged.
Pardon me?
Yeah, they reneged.
Well, they didn't renege. It's ADA said it wasn't approved. So why are we going to cross that bridge? We know that we were able to.
Let's not get into that. We could have a discussion there.
Exactly. So our
Then-
first choice will be Gulf Street School and Park VNY. Jeremy?
An alternate.
Just a quick question, clarification, since this is an in-person, I don't know if it qualifies as a meeting or whatnot. Would all those present have to show proof of vaccination based on what was discussed earlier? I mean, if people that are voting, you know, and participants that come in to be able to vote, do they have to show proof of vaccination? I mean,
That wouldn't be up to us because those of us that are going to be running can't be anywhere near that. We have to be, what is it, 500 feet away or something like that.
Good
So
point.
that's
point.
up to the city clerk to do all that stuff. So we're going to be out in the grass area by the street.
Gotcha.
Stacy Rotter.
So kind of sort of related to what Jeremy was just saying, but not intentionally. Will there be an option for those who would want to vote outdoors?
Don't know the answer to that. That's not our concern at this particular moment. We just need to find a location. And then the city will do what the city needs to do. It's out of our hands.
Then I would agree that we should list Galt Street Elementary Auditorium and Park VNY as a second alternate if necessary.
Okay, well, we've got other hands raised, Linda. Glenn Bailey and then Steve Leffert.
I just want for y'all to know that there are several neighborhood councils each cycle that do outdoor voting. So for example, Sunland Hunga did it in a parking lot at a grocery store. Granada Hills North did it in a parking lot. So there is an option. I mean, you could do it at the school. If there's a problem with the auditorium, you could, you know, possibly just do it in the parking lot. And you can tell the city clerk that if you wanted to. The other thing that I haven't heard here yet, just so everyone knows, this is a hybrid election. So it means that people will be able to do vote by mail earlier. And if by chance they miss that opportunity of the deadline or whatever, they have a backup of, you know, coming out on June 18th and doing it in person. That's it.
Thank you. Steve Leffert.
Yeah, just a comment about they might not be handicap accessible anymore at Galt Street. That doesn't change. That's, you know, the structure hasn't been modified. Also, keeping in mind that this is, I believe, June 20 something.
June 18, 2023.
To do it outdoor in the parking lot, it could be, you know, in 100-degree weather. So you definitely want to have that indoor in the auditorium that has air conditioning. That's all.
Okay, so is anyone opposed for Gulf Street School as our first location and Park VNY as our second location? Thank you. For the form itself is no, we've not made any connection to anyone, so that's fine. The next thing is translations, language for filing for the candidate forms, the voter registration forms, and the polling place interpreter. We have never had interpreters before, but for free, we can get Spanish, Korean, and Chinese. I don't know if we have many Chinese, but I think we have a population that speaks Spanish, and we now have Miguel who can help us with translation. Thank you, Miguel. So I do think we should have everything in Spanish. And we do have a population of Korean We have the Green Market or whatever it's called at White Oak and Sherman Way. That's a Korean market. And there's a lot of Korean shoppers that are there that can vote if they qualify. So I think we should have Spanish and Korean. Does anyone have any issues with that? So are we all in agreement, or do we want Chinese as well? I don't think there's any reason to have Chinese. Michael?
So these are the only three choices
That are
done with-
free.
Okay.
Anything else we have to pay for. So
Okay.
I don't know, moving around our community, yes, we have Spanish speakers, and yes, we have some Korean. I don't believe there's that many.
Okay.
Ruth?
There's quite a few Filipino people in our neighborhood. I mean, most of them speak, English fairly well. So, but that's another Tagalog would be a possibility.
I don't think they have a price on here, so if we want to provide that, we can, but it's going to cost us money for having everything translated. So is that something that we would like to do?
No.
No.
So we're not all in agreement. So then we'll have to take a vote.
Let me ask. The items that we have on the agenda, C, D, and E, which would be languages for candidate filing forms, registration forms, and polling place interpreters. It lists for all three of those, English, Spanish, and Korean would be free to the neighborhood council. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes, you
Yes,
do.
you do.
Then I don't see any reason why we wouldn't opt to accept all three of those options for all three languages if they're being offered to us.
Right.
Well, there's a cost involved to that. I don't believe there's a large Chinese community within our boundaries.
Does this not say free for Spanish, Korean, and Chinese?
I think it's inclusive.
That's what it
Yes,
says.
yes, it is free, but somebody has to pay for the interpreter. Somebody has to pay for the,
Oh, okay.
okay, so whether it's us or not, somebody is paying for it. I personally don't see a need for Chinese unless somebody else does. If somebody else does, then we can request an interpreter in Chinese. And Ruth would like to, I believe, have an interpreter for Tagalog. Is that right, Ruth?
That was my suggestion, yes.
Michael?
At the outreach meeting, someone who attended said that there's a good amount of Russian community. So again, I don't know if there's an opportunity for us to look at the recent census and look at our numbers and see if we can argue. The argument can be made to Dunn saying, if these are free, but we found that another population is higher in this area that needs those services, could they replace maybe Chinese that may be a lower number, I don't know, for free?
Well, actually, what we can do is we can accept everything. Then we don't have to worry about it. And then we'll leave it up to the election committee to determine if they want to have additional. Then they need to vote for additional funding and the languages that they would prefer. How would that be?
That sounds fun.
All right. So what we're voting on is A is we're going to do 6 hours at Galt Street School, and it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Sorry, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. 6 hours, Galt Street School. We're going to request the 3 languages for use. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council approve our election information worksheet.
Second.
Gravani made the motion. Ruth Doxey seconded. Discussion. Let's take a vote. Oh, Michael, you had a question?
Sorry about that. I don't see on here just because I work a lot with the accessibility community as well too. So I don't know if the done didn't include what services are providing for those that are disabled, blind, or that needs additional services.
Yeah,
For
that's
this
not on
form.
our questionnaire. That'll be up to the city clerk to determine what needs to be done.
Okay, good, thanks.
So are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 18 regarding the election worksheet, James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez.
Yes.
Oh, just a minute. I'm sorry, that's me in the background and I can't mute it for some reason. Okay. I left off at Michael Cortez, who was a yes. Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Jasmine is ineligible. Linda Gravani
Yes.
is excused.
Why is Jasmine ineligible?
Oh, I beg your pardon. This is a worksheet. Jasmine, I apologize.
It's okay. Yes.
Yes. All right, let me initial that and cross it out. Sandy Joseph,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica is excused. Miguel,
Yes.
Alan Nelson is ineligible. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Basanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin is a yes. Jim Stein is absent.
I don't think you asked for me.
Linda, I didn't ask for you.
Yeah, no, you missed me.
I'm sorry, I marked you down as yes.
Well,
Linda
it's
Gravani?
correct. Yes.
All right, excuse me. Okay, that gives us 11 yeses, 0 nos, 0 abstain, 1 ineligible. Passes.
Thank you. Okay, number 19, discussion and possible action regarding the creation of election committee and appointment of chair and committee members. Who would like to be the chair of the election committee? Come on, otherwise I'm going to appoint somebody. Nobody want to step up? We need to have a chair.
I would be willing to be a co-chair.
Okay.
Jasmine, I nominate Jasmine.
Jasmine's going to be doing finals. Just watch. She can be on the committee. Anyone want to co-chair with Linda Schwerin?
Come on, guys.
I don't mind being on the committee, but I don't mind being on the committee.
Okay, so Michael is going to be on the committee.
Actually, that would be very good because the election committee is going to sort of knit and go hand in hand with outreach.
That's right. Jasmine, do you want to be on election committee?
Sure.
Okay. Anyone else going once, going twice? Needless to say, when you need assistance, the rest of us will be happy to help, but you're going to be leaders and tell us what you need. Anyone else? Alan, you've been through several. Do you want to be on the election committee? Come on, Alan. You need to get out of the house. You're muted, so that was a yes.
I'll think about it.
No, we'll put you down. Okay, so instead of co-chair, Linda Schwerin is chair. Michael, Jasmine, and Alan are on the committee. And the rest of us will be worker bees and will assist however we can. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Was sneaky.
Wasn't that twisting arms? Yeah, I know. I'm getting good at that.
Yeah.
Number 20, discussion and possible action regarding whether or not current board members plan to run for the neighborhood council again. And the reason I put this down is because some people may decide that they don't wish to run for election in 2023. And so the election committee, Linda Schwerin and gang, need to know how many neighborhoods they have to go door knocking to, how many potential seats will be available. Not that it means anything. It's just that I'd just like to get a feel. So let's just go down the list, which I had somewhere. Here we go. So James Brown, are you planning to run again?
Is this a yes or no or maybe?
Yeah, so just yeah, whatever. I just want to get a straw poll. This is not going anywhere. I just want the election committee and us to
Yes.
see you're planning to run again.
Sure.
Michael Cortez. Yeah.
Yes.
Ruth Doxey.
No.
Did we wear you out, Ruth? Jasmine,
Never thought I'd see that.
You would not be eligible for youth seat. And I'm not sure what the city is going to be doing because we're going to still be Zooming, I believe. And we don't have to be in a specific location while we are Zooming, so you can attend the meetings in your college dorm. Other than that, if we were in person, we all have to meet in a building, in a facility together. So that is open to you at this moment in time for further clarification. But you are eligible as a residential. Would you be considering maybe running again?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. Oh, well, that's wonderful. I'm on the fence, to be really candid. I really would like to have seen us do some more than we've actually done. Unfortunately, our job is to get the community involved. And I don't know that in the last 10 years, if we've had 1,000 people added to our database. So I don't know what we can do to get more people involved in the governance of our city. So I'm really on the fence. I'm not sure. I'm a maybe. Sandy Joseph is leaving us today. Do you want to run maybe next year after you had some time off?
I'm good, thank you.
Gary Kay?
Undecided.
Miguel? Sorry?
I will say yes.
Yes! Thank you. Alan Nelson?
No.
What? Who's going to do the murals?
Well, I've been on the council for something like 12 or 14 years. It's time for me to go.
Carol Newman?
I haven't decided yet.
Thank you. Jeremy?
I don't know. Most likely not. There is a probability I may be moving out of the area. But that's totally unknown. But we'll see. So.
But if you're in the area?
In the area, maybe.
Okay. Linda Schwerin?
So Jeremy's a maybe, right?
Yes.
At this point in time, you can put me as a yes.
Okay.
It may change, but you can put me as.
So you're on the committee, you're the chair, so you've got kind of a feel that there's a mixed bag here. So we need to,
Linda, could you please run over that list again so I can make sure mine matches yours?
Oh, you don't need to really identify that because things change.
Okay.
It was just a straw poll, just so that we could get some information. It doesn't have to be in the minutes that Linda Gravani said no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Said yes, and then I have to say, could I please
I'm just
run
gonna
again?
Then in the minutes, I'm just gonna say a straw poll was taken.
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. Just so that the committee gets an idea, because now you know, okay, well, if so-and-so isn't running, then that was that seat and that was that seat. So we need to go and hustle around and see if we can find some 501c3s or church people or whatever. Okay. Number 21, discussion of possible action regarding Council File 22-0600-S20 for LA Fire Department approval using goats for brush removal. Jasmine?
So we previously discussed that the Sepulveda Basin tends to have overgrowth throughout the years. And we also discussed having goats come to the area to eat the overgrowth. And this council file is basically the city asking the Los Angeles Fire Department to see if they're okay with this. So I move that the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council supports Council File 22-0600-S20.
Second,
Okay, Jasmine made the motion. Was that you, James?
yes.
James seconded. Discussion.
Yes, I'd like to bring up Ruth. I asked Ruth sometime before, because I've seen this motion come up before the board, and we actually allocated funds for this endeavor, only to be thwarted and it not happen. So here's an opportunity to do some possible fire abatement by actually causing it to happen, so that we can reduce the amount of fires or the potential fires that take place in the basin. I think it's a good deal. And the goats have proven to be reliable.
Actually, there was no council file previously. It was just a request from Rec and Parks, I believe. So this is an actual council file. So we've made a little bit of progress. Pat Bates from Encino Neighborhood Council, welcome.
Hello, neighbors.
Hi.
This is really important. We tried to get this through. You've got two things. We've got two council motions. The second one is the one that really affects you guys, is the S61 motion. That's asking for Rec and Parks to look at this. What happened last year? For just a little explanation. I am on the Encino Neighborhood Council. I am their delegate to the Sepulveda Basin Wildlife Steering Committee. We approved a motion from the steering committee whereby the Native Plant Society would fund a goat project. And this would have been in the lowered area on the east side of Woodley, north of Burbank, to reduce the flammable fuel load. Rec and Parks would not even answer the requests for an entry permit. This went on and on and on and on. And, you know, and then it got to the end of the year, and we had winter, and we had a load of rain in December. Well, here's the deal. I walk in there now. We have got 6-foot high impenetrable brush over my head, flammable. Depending on which way the wind is blowing, it's going to incinerate Encino or Lake Balboa. Take your choice. I do not know why the city wouldn't look at this, but it's time they looked at it. I can't begin to express my support for these two measures. And this should be considered not only in our Sepulveda Basin area, but any fire severity area in the hillsides. You guys don't have the hillside areas, we do. They're using goats to clear out the brush over by the Reagan Library. That's Ventura County. Ventura County, let me tell you, is way ahead of us. So you know, let's jump the gun on this, jump on it. Last week, the Encino Neighborhood Council approved and has filed CIS is supporting both of these measures. Really, really, really important. And anybody's got questions, you're free to call me. I'm glad to answer anything. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Pat. We appreciate it. James Brown?
I would like to second what Pat indicated. As a matter of fact, at the next week's CPAD meeting, one of the fire department chiefs is going to be a guest speaker that's going to be talking about this very issue of having year-round fires, forest fires, and how it would affect everyone living in the city. So to see this issue brought up before us, I think is something that whose time has come, and we need to act, and we need to act positively on this. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, let's take a vote. Linda Schwerin is missing.
Oops, Linda Schwerin is not missing. Linda Schwerin is unwell. That I'm going to be able to complete the rest of the meeting and make my report. So let me, all right, let me take the vote. Number 21 for the council file, James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Jasmine Garcia,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Lydia is excused, Sandy Joseph,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica is excused, Miguel,
Yes.
Alan Nelson is ineligible, Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin is a yes.
You've got young children.
Jim Stein is absent. $11 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 1 ineligible.
Thank you. Motion carries. Number 22, discussion and possible action regarding council file 22-0600-S61 for Rec and Park approval of using goats for brush removal. Jasmine Garcia.
Okay, so like Linda said, basically this council file is just the city council asking Rec and Park to approve the goats eating the overgrowth. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council supports council file 22-0600-S61.
Second.
Jasmine made the motion and James Brown seconded. Discussion. So this is really more of the same. It's just the city is asking for two different departments to view what their point of view is. Bottom line is we need goats, and I believe goats eat down at the roots, don't they, Pat? You've got your hand raised again. Do the goats eat down at the roots? And really what the city is looking for is the budget. They want to know, should they spend money on goats? And very candidly, last time around, Lake Balboa, as well as the Audubon Society, I believe, voted funding for it. We didn't care. We didn't care if the city paid for it or not. We just wanted it. And they just, said, go be gone with you.
If I may speak, yeah, thank you. I am also on the board of the San Fernando Valley Audubon. The goats eat pretty much everything, and apparently their digestive system pretty much metabolizes the seeds. So whatever they poop out isn't germinating that much, inshallah, I don't know. But, this is an opportunity we have to get a biological control solution in there. That after possibly a year or 2 years of this, we will not have 6-foot-high flammable invasive mustard in there. It's an opportunity we shouldn't pass up. And you know, they're, as I said before, they're using them every place. Yeah, they eat it pretty much down to the ground.
Great, thank you.
But you know, other things have not worked. Nothing has been done. We're looking at a cycle of, you know, grow weeds, dry out, burn. Grow weeds, dry out, burn. It's destroying things. And we can do a lot better. So let's try.
Thank you. Ruth?
I was just going to say, I don't think money was the issue with the city. I think it was liability, either of people being hurt by the goats or people eating the goats or something. That the liability, I think it was the liability that kept the Parks Department from ever answering us, because we had it pretty much paid for between the different organizations and the Wildlife Steering Committee. So that's all.
Yeah, but you know, I think the liability of our houses going up in flames is something to think about as well. Sandy Joseph?
I just want to say I love goats and I think this is great. Let's vote.
Okay, that's a good idea. Let's do it. Linda?
Okay. All right, it is 8:57. All right, James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Jasmine Garcia,
Yes.
Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Lydia is excused, Gary Kay,
Yes.
You need Sandy Joseph?
oh, look at, I went right by you. Sandy Joseph,
Yes.
Miguel, is this the one that
Gary,
you?
did you respond?
I did, yes.
Yes, he
Thank
did.
you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I abstain, Linda.
Okay.
Wait. I mean, didn't Miguel say he had a conflict?
I thought so.
Well, if Miguel
On one
had
of
a
these.
conflict, this should have been handled differently. You know, from the beginning. If this is the one, Miguel, I'm not blaming you or anything, but if there was a
This
conflict,
issue?
it should have been, yeah.
With
The
which
Department of Justice-
item? Yeah.
Rec and Parks?
Miguel?
Yeah, so this is I think where there's a little bit of confusion, because I know we identified in the beginning there was a conflict of interest, and it's one that I think Daniel referred to earlier, and one that I'm still confused on. I do work in full transparency for the Department of Recreation and Parks, which is why I am also abstaining, and I'm not sure if it's a conflict of interest or not, but I'd rather err on the side of caution and go with that. It may be.
So Miguel made no comments for or against the item.
Wait. If this is recusal, he's not to be present.
That's correct.
During the discussion. I'm
Yes.
sorry, I didn't think about that.
I
when we
didn't
were
either.
doing it.
We didn't either.
Then that means that we are unable to vote on this item because Miguel is not recused.
What
Okay,
about the item before?
it's got nothing to do with Rec and Park, so that was okay. So we'll have to table this, sorry.
Okay, so number 22.
Tabled.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Carol.
Now, I just want to tell everybody, because the neighborhood council voted, we're voting for the community on this. I would like to recommend that each and every person send their own personal comments on these particular files. And you can do that. I think the more the merrier. I think if we can get 100 people to say they are for or against something, the city will probably say, wow, this is, I better check this out. 2 or 3 neighborhood councils, they'll say, well, there's 2 or 3 neighborhood councils, but if there's 100 people, so be it. Pat?
Linda is right. Send your comments and I hope you all know how to make comments on city council files, and you know what the council files are. Put your comments in. We've got everyone in Audubon putting them in. Hopefully everyone on the neighborhood council. This is a big deal. So, more is better. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. And if anyone doesn't know how to do that, I'll be happy to show you. It's really easy. Number 23, update, discussion and possible action regarding Southwest Valley General Plan. Miguel?
Perfect. Carol, thank you, by the way. I'm sorry we didn't handle that a little bit better, but thank you for pointing that out. Okay, so I'll make this super quickly. So everyone is up to speed. LA City Planning and LA City in general has adopted a new zoning code, which will be starting to take effect among the 35 community plans for LA City. Currently, right now, the Southwest Valley Community Plan consists of 3 different areas, which is Canoga Park, Winnetka, Woodland Hills, West Hills, that's one area. Reseda, West Van Nuys, which includes Lake Balboa, that is our area, and Encino and Tarzana are undergoing an entire revamp of their community plan, which will enact these new zoning codes, which will effectively change the type of zoning and land use and general plan designation for these local areas. It's a very extensive plan. Currently, right now, it is in the consultation phase, meaning any member of these communities or any concerned member from any community can please give their input by visiting the planning website, and you can just search the Southwest Valley Community Plan update that has a boatload of information discussing what is a community plan, what are the proposals, which is what the current phase is in right now. It is strictly in proposals, so things can go left, things can go right. We're not entirely sure. Maps can fluctuate left and right. One big thing that will be of note, so you guys all are aware of, is on Valjean. The current plan right now is on the eastern side of Valjean up to the 405 is not included in the West Van Nuys community plan currently. With this new proposal, it will now take that little portion away from North Van Nuys and add it into the West Van Nuys community plan. I know it doesn't really seem like a big deal. And in retrospect, what they're trying to do is trying to include what the Van Nuys Airport, their properties and their land into the West Van Nuys community plan, which just makes more sense to have it there. If you are curious about how this may affect your residential home, your single family housing, or any type of zoning that you're concerned about, they have interactive maps in which you can type in your address and search to see what zoning is going to change from what to what. As we know, there's changes in duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, so on and so forth. So if you're curious to see what is going on around you and your community, please, I urge you to go ahead and visit that. And if you want to give a comment about your specific address or a specific location in general, you can do that on their website. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Number 24, budget. Discussion of possible action regarding the June 2022
There's some
monthly.
questions, Linda. Or Miguel.
Sorry. Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Miguel, for that update. What is the general schedule for releasing the community plan, getting input, adopting it altogether? I know community plans are so huge for communities and can sometimes change it dramatically. And so do you plan to bring this to your committee even more, create a subcommittee, or I don't know, just provide continuous updates?
Yes, so I will be providing more continuous updates as we go along. Like I said, because we're in the proposal phase, city planning will obviously change things left and right. And it's just about our committee. If there's changes, big changes that we noticed that weren't there before, I'll bring it to committee and to the board in general. Just so everyone knows too, once a full plan is drafted, we will move into the environmental review phase. So this is still a long way to go. And thankfully, we're still in the community input phase of this plan. So which is why I urge everyone, if you haven't had a chance to look at it, because it is really extensive, like Michael says, please take a look at it. Don't take it for granted. Please look at it. It obviously will be changing a few things. Some will be the same, just with different names. But please go ahead and see what's going to happen with the airport.
Just to add to that, I think we can talk more, but I think it would be good for you to consider putting something together we can put on the website or just resources to let the rest of the community know that we're in this community input phase.
Of course. Thank you.
Great. Ruth?
Hi, yes, thank you, Miguel. I wondered that first section, Canoga Park, what were the other communities within that section?
Yeah, let me get that for you. Yeah, because the Southwest Valley Community Plan they're very difficult, but it's split up into three. So it's Canoga Park, Winnetka, Woodland Hills, West Hills is one section.
Okay, I got that. I got the other ones. The other ones are CETA and West Van Nuys, which includes us. The third one is Encino and Tarzana.
Correct. And all together make up the Southwest Valley Community Plan.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
No more? Perfect. Okay, now we'll go to number 24, budget discussion and possible action regarding the June 2022 monthly expense report. Linda Schwerin.
You're muted.
Linda, I can share the MERS. I have it ready for you. In case you want me to.
Please.
I could share screen if you wanted to. Why, do you already have it ready?
Yes, he does.
Oh, well, if you do, that's absolutely wonderful. Okay, June MER, which would be the last month of fiscal year 2021. And it's up on your screen now. You see that the balance of net available on the top right-hand side, $9,287. Hopefully is the amount that will be able to roll over into the new fiscal year. The other items that are listed here would be monthly expenditures, which you see in the second group. And then following that is a detailed list of expenditures. And there we go. These have all been verified, leaving an outstanding balance of 0. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council approve the June 2022 MER monthly expenditure report.
Second.
Linda Schwerin made the motion. James, was that you again?
Yes.
James Brown seconded. Discussion? So we're under the $10,000 for rollover, so that would be great.
Yeah.
Yes, and if you'd like a very quick report, normally by the first part of August, there's a reconciliation that tells neighborhood councils that their fiscal year for 2021-2022 has been reviewed and verified. That is still in progress and will be available very soon. So at this point, we do not have a rollover amount. As I said, our LB&C estimated amount, $9,287 and whatever that change was. The budget's approved. It's confirmed that we have $32,000.
Thank you, Linda.
Yes, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be here to give you my regular report. May I do that now?
I know, because we're talking only about the June MER.
Well, okay, let's do it because I'm sorry, I'm feeling really bad and I may be here for another 5-10 minutes and then I'm gone. So let me take.
Okay,
So we need to
Okay.
vote on this.
I know
so
you
let's
do.
vote.
James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey.
Yes.
Jasmine is ineligible. You're still here. Yes, Jasmine. Linda Gravani,
Yes.
Lydia is okay. Sandy Joseph,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton excused, Miguel,
Yes.
Alan Nelson ineligible, Carol Newman,
Yes.
Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin is a yes, Jim Stein is absent. I hope I haven't missed anybody. I'm showing 10. 10 yeses,
Because Jasmine's ineligible, yes.
0 no's, 0 abstained, 2 ineligible, motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, I know you're going on to some important things and I'm sorry, I'm the rest of the vote tallies. I am not doing well at all and I'm going to have to leave really soon.
Okay, so let us show you, it is 9:12. Shall we show that you're leaving?
Unless you want me to give you a very quick report about the budget.
No, I'm sorry, we don't have it on the agenda. We can't discuss it.
Okay, and you don't have any committee reporting. So you won't get, all right. I'm sorry, I think I'm on my way to the ER now. And
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, be
I'm
well,
gone.
Linda.
I am sorry that I wasn't able to make it through the whole thing. So you've got 25 through 30. The meeting is being recorded, correct?
Yes, I will get you the information you need, Linda. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Take
And
care of
Yeah,
yourself.
take care,
Feel
Linda.
better, Linda.
Feel
Have
better.
Paul take you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye,
All
Linda.
right, bye.
Okay, number 25, funding, discussion and possible action regarding the expenditure of up to $6,000 to purchase emergency preparedness items to replace expired bin items. Sandy Joseph. Now, I put this on the agenda because even though we don't know at this moment in time the status of the bins, if we do find out that we're in control of it, if we do find out that we can do this, I would like the funds to be available or at least earmarked. So Sandy?
Okay, my motion is I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council pay up to $6,000 to purchase emergency preparedness items to replace expired bin items.
Gravani
Second.
seconds. So Sandy Joseph made the motion and Gravani seconded. Discussion. Michael?
So I think you had mentioned that we were going to contact the LA Fire Department and the police department first, right? To find out if they even need the items in the bin. I don't know. I guess for me, I'm open to potentially voting for this. It's just that I'm concerned if what if they don't need it or we don't to vote for it now without further information.
It's not whether they need it or not. They don't know it exists.
Okay.
That's the difficulty. We don't have the jaws of life, but it would be something like the jaws of life would be in there. It's what other things? There's the searchlights. What else is in there, Sandy?
A generator, lots of emergency preparedness items, batteries, lights, sea collars, etc.
Saline solution.
Yep.
Bandages.
Yep.
That kind of
burn
stuff.
ointment.
Stacy?
Okay.
Okay, again, I'm fully in support of getting these bins replaced. But to piggyback on what Michael was just mentioning, I'm wondering, without partnering directly with LAFD and LAPD and whoever is supposed to know they have access, my question is, what if for their own liability reasons, they wouldn't be allowed to use community provided resources? You know,
Speaking
having,
to LAPD, they don't have that issue.
I'm sorry?
Speaking to LAPD, they don't have that issue.
Well, they don't know it exists, so how do we know they don't have the issue?
Well, because I won't go into it. Okay.
Well, my own personal feeling, if it's an emergency, if there's an earthquake, if there's a fire, if there's a flood, there'll be an emergency status identified and all bets are off. The liability issue won't be available to anybody. It's just that, you know, we're all just trying to get out of the mess we're in.
I hope that would be the case, and that, because my concern is that bureaucracy has no bounds. Thank you.
Yeah, no, we understand. But this item actually was approved last budget. We're just trying to get it approved again so that if indeed the city clerk working in the funding department says, okay, you can do it, then we can go do it. Otherwise, it'll pop up again at another time. Any other discussion? Okay,
Yeah,
let's take a,
my hand is up.
oh, sorry, didn't see.
Is the stuff for both bins or it's just for one bin? And is it the bin that we have access to, or is it the bin that is locked that we don't have access to?
They're both locked.
Sorry, they're both locked and we don't have access to either?
We have access to one.
And is the stuff that we're looking to spend this money on, is that for which one?
It's actually for both.
Okay. I would caution that potentially buying stuff that, A, we don't have space for in the storage unit if we don't have access to the bin, or stuff that's perishable, we may want to rethink when we buy the stuff. I think buying it is one thing, but the when is the bigger issue. I would suggest we table this until we know more, but that's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Jeremy, we were looking to get a key for the lock where did you go, Jeremy? There you are. A key for the lock. And I don't know if you were able to do that or not, but bottom line, I think
Nope.
any locksmith can open that lock and we can get in and get a new lock on it. I believe the last time we discussed it, Danica said, oh yeah, no, the principal knows all about it and has a key. So we're not quite sure where all of that stands, and I apologize for that, but you know, we're not experts in LAUSD facilities. And we did go over there and take pictures, and they said, no, we don't have a key. We have no idea what you're talking about. So, I mean, it's just another stumbling block, and I apologize. And if you don't want to vote on it, that's fine. It'll pop up another time. I just wanted to get it off my to-do list. I know that's probably not a good reason, but we did vote for it previously. Any other discussion?
I think
Okay,
another reason to postpone it is until there's a chair, because when the stuff does come in, it's going to take a chair and a committee to take out the old stuff and replenish it with the new stuff. I think it's premature.
Okay, so let's take.
I'm sorry,
I disagree with that.
Well, we're going to take a vote, so you can identify what time is it? It's 9:19. Sorry, 9:19 p.m. Okay, James Brown.
Can you repeat the motion again, Sandy, please?
The motion is to fund the $6,000 for the 2 bins for the things that are.
Yes.
Sorry, James Brown.
Yes.
Thank you. Michael Cortez.
I support emergency preparedness, but I'm going to say no at this time.
Okay. Ruth Doxey.
Yes.
Jasmine is ineligible. Linda Gravani is a yes. Sandy Joseph.
Yes.
Gary Kay.
No. I'm a no at this time.
Miguel,
Yes.
Alan Nelson cannot vote. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Abstain.
Jeremy.
Abstain.
Oh, sorry. Linda's not here. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yes. 1, 2, 2 no, and 1 abstention. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, number 26, funding. Discussion of possible action to pay $246.29 for Minuteman Printing, and that was for the EP flyers for LA USD schools. Sandy?
Second. Oh, sorry.
I have a motion.
I thought you made a motion.
Are we in a rush to get out of
I
here?
was thinking it, and you seconded it. Thank you. But I'm going to get it out. I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council pay the Minuteman Press invoice in the amount of $246.29 for printing the May Outreach Emergency Preparedness flyers inadvertently not included with the original May 2022 outreach expense payments. Yay, thank you.
Thank you. Sandy made the motion. Ruth Doxey seconded. Any discussion? Okay, let's take a vote. James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Sit.
what was this?
Somebody's saying to sit.
Sorry,
We are
sorry,
sitting.
sorry. No, I have a bad dog who's like misbehaving and he doesn't want to.
It's all good. I'm just teasing. It's good.
Okay, Jasmine cannot vote. Linda Gravani say yes. Sandy Joseph,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Miguel,
Yes.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
and that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 yeses. Jasmine is still here, so 0 and 2 ineligible. Thank you. Motion
Thank
carries.
you.
Okay, number 27, we're getting there. Funding, discussion of possible action to spend up to $500 for plastic containers for Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council t-shirts in the storage. So we have these storage bins for the t-shirts, which are extremely large, very difficult to handle, and we're getting more t-shirts. So I would like to purchase smaller plastic bins that would fit in our vehicles when we have outreach events that we don't have to carry and lug around these huge boxes. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council spend up to $500 for plastic containers for storage of our t-shirts.
Second.
Ravani made the motion and I missed who second. Was that you, Michael?
Second.
Okay. And it is 9:24. Thank you. Discussion. Stacy?
Super quick recommendation, since if this funding passes, these bins are often on sale this time of year because of kids moving off to college and dorms and things. So I would suggest that you look for those sales and take advantage of that promptly. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, we shall go on. James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Linda Gravani is a yes. Sandy Joseph,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Miguel,
Yes.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
nine yeses, 0 nos, and 2 ineligible. Thank you. Appreciate it. Funding, number 28, discussion of possible action to spend up to $2,000 for neighborhood watch items. Gary Kay.
Yes, I move that the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council allocate $2,000 from the 2022-2023 fiscal budget as outreach expenses so that we continue supporting our volunteer neighborhood watch block captains with the printing of materials such as intro letters, questionnaires, neighborhood watch meeting invites and reminders, etc., bottled water for their eventual in-person meetings.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, Gary Kay made the motion. Ruth Doxy seconded. Can you forward that motion to Ruth, who's taking the minutes?
Sure.
Thank you. Discussion. Okay, let's vote. James Brown,
Yes.
Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxy,
Yes.
Linda Gravani is a yes. Sandy Joseph,
Yes.
Gary Kay,
Yes.
Miguel,
Yes.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pasanic,
Yes.
nine yeses, 0 nos, and 2 ineligible, and that was at 9:20.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Motion carries. Okay, number 29, funding. Rogue Artist Ensemble is requesting a neighborhood purposes grant for $4,999 for theater production. Do you have that NPG, Michael, that you could show? I don't know who these folks are. They just requested it in the past. The board voted that they wanted to know about all neighborhood purposes grants. And this is, can you move on down to the actual neighborhood purposes grant form? Here we go. Okay. And if you could move down a little bit more. Okay, here we go. So they're looking for $4,999, and their total project is $24,800. And what they're going to do is a theater production, and it's going to be for paying performers and paying for production
COVID test.
staff. Sorry?
I see COVID test.
Yeah, all of this fun stuff. For me personally, this is not what I feel the neighborhood council is for, but it's before us, so I'll make the motion. I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council support the neighborhood purposes grant for $4,999 for theater production. Is there a second? No second. Okay, no vote. It will continue on. Number 30. Thank you.
Glenn
Lake
Bailey
Balboa
has his hand up, Linda.
Sorry?
Glenn Bailey has his hand up, or had his hand up, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Glenn?
It's moot. I was actually going to want to see page 1 of the NPG, but I can do that offline. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay, so thank you, Lake Balboa board members and Neighborhood Watch block captains for all you do for our community. And most of it is behind the scenes. So we thank you very much. I do see Ruth Doxy's hand is raised.
Well, I was going to ask, I guess the next time I need to make a report about the Sepulveda Basin Wildlife Area Steering Committee meeting. Is that during public comment, or there's no board comment or a chance to make an announcement?
Well, I ask people for agenda items, and if you have one, I'd appreciate your letting me know, and then I can put it on the agenda, even though I don't number them necessarily correctly, or if I have all the information that's needed. But I do try to ask, and it should be a specific item if you have an update.
Okay.
I'd appreciate that.
What about announcements, just plain announcements, Linda? I saw that written in the communication regarding that.
Yeah, we can do that, but you know, I don't know what's out there. I'm working trying to get all the things on. I don't know if you have an announcement or not, but I guess I could put just announcements. And
Right.
then if you have an update, then you can do it over there. So I'll put that on the agenda. Number 31, it is 9:30 p.m. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. Carol, feel better.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.